What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 1.77%, just like a phoenix just breaking out from the ashes. It did look as though it was going to get suppressed by shorts because they kind of have a financial interest in keeping it below $2.50. But like I said, it was able to just rise above that, and essentially it is kind of in breakout mode. So I'm going to go over some of the technicals and everything else, but $2.45 a low, $2.59 the high, and kind of low volume, but that's not just happening with Lucid, that's kind of across the board because it's Friday, that's generally the nature, and then there has been, at least over the last several Fridays, a rotation out of equity into crypto. So for those of you that are in cryptocurrencies, you should see abnormally high or a little bit higher volume on Friday, and that's just kind of a rotation. So that's what's happening behind the scenes. But beside the point, you are seeing only one transaction on the secondary market above $100,000. So similar to what I mentioned in my video yesterday, you have algorithmic trading really propelling Lucid higher, and that's because of the technicals as well as a lot of good bullish articles. No official news from Lucid itself though today, no SEC filing, so it is just in theory piggybacking off of the broader market. But unofficially, there's a couple of things. One is this: the Lucid Oasis did kind of post this. So Korean battery company Grenergy, if I'm saying that right, announced today that it's secured a 10-year contract worth around 16.5 million to supply parts for Lucid. So generally good stuff, in my opinion. I think Lucid just has a lot of these types of deals. If this is a 10-year contract, most likely that's going to be for, I assume, Gravity and also midsize, or possibly it just might be solely just for midsize, because if they're doing some supply deals right now, it might not be for the Gravity, it might be for future products. But then again, what do I know? Nonetheless, it goes to show that at least Lucid is thinking long term. I wouldn't really see this as a good catalyst to buy Lucid or sell it because of this, but it's a good FYI. On a side note, this might be a good reason to potentially buy, and that is expansion. So Lucid starts deliveries in the UAE, marking its 6th market, and that's where my thumbnail comes from, lucky number 6. So yeah, Lucid's expansion. When I got into Lucid, I really liked the product, but I liked their initial expansion, more specifically to Europe and stuff like that. But nonetheless, they are slowly and steadily achieving it. The only area that I feel that they haven't really conquered yet, which was previously stated, was China, but Peter did bring that up in his recent interview, saying that that's a goal that a lot of companies want to move there, but it's very difficult. So clearly it's on the chopping block, but most likely it's probably going to get pushed to 2030. But nonetheless, I love Lucid's expansion. Aside from all that though, this is now the second consecutive day where shorts are returning. I know it doesn't seem like much and we shouldn't jump up and down, but if you combine this information with what is happening on a larger stance, with the technicals, you can kind of get the warm fuzzy feeling of being optimistic with Lucid. And it's been a very long time that a lot of investors can actually say that confidently. 22.32% of the free float is being shorted though. Works out to be 265.0 or 89 million shares overall are being shorted, so definitely high stuff. And shorts are returning 277,000 shares so far today. Utilization 91.95, and then short score, so the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is 77.39. These are all the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So 1.15 million in calls, 158,000 in puts. 52% of all the options being done are optimistic in nature. And funny thing is, on my phone I get unusual whales notifications, and in case you don't know, that's what this kind of program is. And so I got just recently this notification. So there's a lot of big money starting to really get into Lucid, and a lot of bullishness. So what I mean by that is a lot of these calls that are being purchased by big money is kind of longer term. So you have, for instance, $15 strike price. And so that candle right there was this. So for whatever reason, December 19th, 2025, big money is assuming, and I assume it's big money based on $50,000 at least for the options, is assuming it's going to be above $15. Whether that comes to fruition or not, I'm not really sure. That's kind of the fun nature of options, but nonetheless, you still do see a lot of good optimism in the short term for it to be above that $3. And based on the technicals, honestly, I tend to agree. As I've been stating, it really needed to get above that super trend, and that is for more so just the algorithms to start buying it. But it was able to get above that 50-day moving average, so that yellow line right there. And historically, that does result in about a 30 to 40% push higher. So pretty much right here, a little bit above that kind of the 100 and 200-day moving averages. So Lucid's technicals are looking a-okay. So not only are they achieving good expansion, technicals are looking good, shorts are returning shares, and honestly, everyone's happy except for shorts. Well, I guess they've been happy pretty much the majority of the year. It's logically, they should be returning sooner rather than later. But on a side note, the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $2. So again, something to kind of consider. But aside from that, with it, this is Palantir. Ignore this. I will pull up Lucid right now. So aside from that, though, with it at $2.58, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So $2.65 is that next strong kind of pivot. Wasn't really touched today so far. There's about 11 minutes left in the trading day, so we'll wait and see how that plays out. But $2.47 is a strong support, and it kind of bounced off of that general area for the low today. So we do know going forward, that's a good support. So honestly, like I said, even on my video, I think I put it out on Sunday, just on some expectations. This week, you can actually start to be a little bit more cautiously optimistic. So in my opinion, if I was to make a educated guess based on the technicals, I would feel that Lucid is going to be at $3 in the next week, possibly in the next 2 weeks at the very latest. That's assuming all the macro levels come to fruition and nothing really disrupts anything, but Lucid's next stop most likely is going to be that 100 and 200-day moving average. So that is going to really shift the sentiment as well, and maybe spark some FOMO, possibly, and possibly even more so a squeeze if Lucid was able to put out some good news in between that. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing I just wanted to share with you. I did launch a Patreon roughly around 3 weeks ago, and I've been having some pretty good calls on there, one of which is even SoundHound up 26% just today alone. Even Broadcom, when it was at 160, I was saying it was going to be at 190 plus, and lo and behold, here we are. We're at 210 today. So definitely pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below, and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.